Let's move on to our fourth and final main topic today. And our fourth and final main topic gets submitted to us by Joseph Dennis, who writes, "This would have been the first year for the most popular, thankfully aborted, Oscar, based solely on box office, a runaway for Endgame. But box office is not the best criteria, repeat viewings, and not everyone who sees a movie likes it. Thoughts on who the contenders would have been?" Rob, this is the year we avoided the national nightmare. The Academy of Motion Pictures Arts and Sciences, first of all, I can't even believe how stupid they were that they even considered it, but at least they pumped the brakes. They were this close. Actually, they did announce it, that this was the year they were going to do a new category, a pack of idiots. They were going to introduce a new category. They announced it. It's going to be Best Popular Film. Now, just to be clear, it's different from what they just asked in the question. The category was not going to be Most Popular Film. The category was Best Popular Film. That was going to be their category. Now, obviously, this was going to be a desperate, pathetic attempt at them going, well, there's a bunch of movies that don't deserve nominations, but we want to get more people to watch the show, so let's just nominate the drivel they watch. And it would have been a freaking participation award. That's all it would have been. It would have been idiotic and stupid, and thank God they killed it. But this would have been the year. So I think he raises a really good question, Rob. Here we are. So what would those nominees have been? Now, one of the things that they never really clarified in the whole thing about, well, we're going to do this category, best popular film, they were never able to really quantify for anybody, what is a popular film?
Right.
And they were asked this, and the president of the Academy was like, well, we're not sure yet. Not sure yet. You absolute buffoon. And I'm sure he's a super smart, super wonderful guy, but I was just so hot about this issue because I care about the Oscars. But it's like, how can you possibly even consider the idea of an entire Oscar category and you haven't even thought about what does that category even mean? Shouldn't you have thought that part out before announcing to the world that you're doing this new category, that you can't even tell people what it is? What does it mean? What is a popular film? We don't know yet. We'll figure that out. But we're going to have the category. Again, thankfully, everybody kind of raised their voices and they pulled the plug on it. So, Rob, for the sake of our discussion here, let's, again, for the sake of our discussion, let's assume for a moment that popular film was going to require a box office, a worldwide box office of $500 million. Let's just go on that for now. A popular film was going to be a film that was able to pull in $500 million at the box office. Now let's take a look at this, Rob. The interesting thing about that 500, again, it doesn't have to be $1 billion film. We're just saying if you made 500 million worldwide, you are considered one of the popular films of the year. That would only leave us with if you take a look here, Rob, that only leaves us with a picking barrel of 13 potential movies. This is a strange fact, Rob, that when I started researching this, we realized that we're going to get 9 films this year, 9 that are $1 billion films. That's going to be a number of years before that ever happens again. It's going to be a long time before that happens again. If ever. But this year we're going to get 9 films that are $1 billion. So you'd think we're going to get the number of films over 500 million would probably be like 25, maybe 30. 9 films in $1 billion, but only 4 other films that made over 500 million. Only 13 films made over. Now, granted, that'll probably grow to 14 films as Jumanji, The Next Level, will probably climb over that $500 million mark here pretty soon. So even if you include that, 14 films, and 9 of them made over $1 billion. I thought that was interesting. So a lot of people, we were asking online, and I'm going to tell you right now, let's go look at this right now, as a matter of fact. Before I give you my picks, everybody, let's go over and take a look at what today's question of the day was. Now, today's question of the day was simply just that. It was, if the idiotic best popular film category had been a thing this year, which film do you think would have won it? Now, I put this up just before the show started. Almost 4,000 of you guys have voted. And overwhelmingly, you guys are saying Avengers Endgame would have won. 1.9% of you are saying Toy Story 4 would have won. 20.7% of you are saying Joker would have won. And 1.2% of you guys voting said How to Train Your Dragon 3 would have won that award. So that's what you guys had to say. But here's who your nominees would have been. Of course, I'm just speculating, but here's who I'm telling you guys your nominees would have been. The nominees at this year's Academy Award, had they followed through with this idiotic Best Popular Film category, these would have been your nominees. Your nominees would have been, in no particular order, Joker, How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, Avengers Endgame, Toy Story 4, and Spider-Man Far From Home. That means getting snubbed would have been Lion King, Frozen 2, Captain Marvel, Aladdin, Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw, The Wandering Earth, Niza, which I believe is a Chinese film, and of course Jumanji: The Next Level. But these, I believe, are the films that would have been nominated. When you look at the critical response, the audience response, things like that, I think these are the films that would have got the nomination. Because remember, again, the name of the category was not most popular film. The name of the category was best popular film. And Rob, dude, this is a no-brainer. This is a no-brainer. Now, I'm sorry. I know 70% of you guys said Avengers Endgame would win. No, it wouldn't have. Oh, no, it wouldn't have. The movie that would have won, because only one of these movies, I'll bring up this list again, only one of these movies is going to get nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Only one of these movies is going to get nominated for Best Picture. That means one of these movies the Academy already considers better than all the rest. Because I'm going to tell you right now, How to Train Your Dragon is not getting nominated for Best Picture. Avengers Endgame, I think it's very unlikely it's going to get a Best Picture nomination. Toy Story 4, I think very unlikely it's going to get a Best Picture nomination. Spider-Man Far From Home, very unlikely it's going to get a Best Picture nomination. But I'll tell you what probably is. Joker is probably... I'll go out so far as to say Joker is going to get a nomination for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. So if the Academy is already saying, out of all the popular films, this is the best one, so we're going to make it nominated for Best Picture, there's no question in my mind. Rob, there's no question in my mind that Joker, had they done the Best Popular category this year, it's no question it would have gone to Joker. That's obviously the one the Academy thinks is the best film out of that bunch. And that is, again, the name of the category, Best Popular Picture, not Most Popular Picture. So to me, it is a foregone conclusion, no debate, no discussion. The Academy clearly would have gone with Joker. Now, whether or not you agree that they should go with Joker, that's another question altogether. But it's clear that that's who the Academy would have voted for. And personally, I think they're correct. That is the best popular film of the year. But anyway, Rob, how do you see it? And what would your nominees have been? And who would your winner have been?
Well, John, I just don't think you should count out Hobbs and Shaw in this category.
Maybe
because,
not.
My God.
I like that movie, by the way.
With a $750 million gross. I mean, look, first of all, judging by this criteria, we were talking about it before the show started, over $500 million. By that criteria, that 500 million and above, you have to take Endgame. Now, what's interesting about this category is it's heavy on animation. You know, like you pointed out, How to Train Your Dragon, Toy Story 4, both very respectable, but Toy Story 4 and How to Train Your Dragon are sequels, which is fine. I mean, it's not like a sequel can't win. After all, they could be Godfather 2, right? But I think Endgame has to be in that conversation. Spider-Man Far From Home. I bet they would have nominated Captain Marvel, if only because, female-centric film with indie directors, one of them being female, because that could satisfy other questions about the Academy Awards. But I think basically the only one, as you pointed out, that's worthy. Look, I love Endgame. I do. And I would put it in my 5. So I would probably say Joker, Endgame. I would give it up for Toy Story 4 because hasn't Toy Story been previously nominated for Best Picture? Or
Toy Story 3. Toy Story 3 was the third animated film in history to be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. Yes.
So Toy Story 4 would definitely be in that conversation, but I would probably put Captain Marvel in my 5.
Yeah, that's a strong one.
As well, only because, it did really well, and the fact that this is the year of the woman. But I don't know if I would go with How to Train Your Dragon. I don't. I mean, I would say that already Rise of Skywalker has made it. Maybe that would have to. It's the capper of the 9-film saga, and I would say, as far as the category goes, most popular movie, Star Wars, I think, would belong in that
best popular movie, not most popular movie, best.
Right. I know, but I think it would probably be in there. But to be honest with you, I think Joker is the only one of these movies that belongs, as far as the Academy is concerned, in that category. As much as I love Endgame and these other films, I just think that Joker, if there was this popular category, Joker would be a movie that would give respect to the popular film category, because it wouldn't just be, popcorn munching movies. I mean, Joker has a real shot at legit Oscars. So it would be something that would legitimize the category. All the other movies that are above $500 million, while all good in their certain ways, I don't think they're Academy Award contenders. And I think you don't want to devalue the Academy Awards either. So I don't know. It's tough.
See, I think the Academy would be putting themselves in a really awkward spot, because, like, if you nominate Joker for Best Picture, which it's going to get a nomination for Best Picture, at least I'll be really surprised if it doesn't.
It is.
If you nominate Joker for Best Picture, and then it's in another category, Best Popular Film, and it doesn't win, then now the Academy is making itself look completely contradictory. Like, you're saying it's not even the best film in that category, and yet it's being nominated as the overall best film. You can't have it both ways. It's like when a foreign film is nominated for Best Foreign Film and it's nominated for Best Picture, it becomes a foregone conclusion. That's the movie that's going to win the Best Foreign Film category, the Best Foreign Language Film category, because the Oscars have already proclaimed that we think it's the best one in that bunch, because that's the only one getting nominated for Best Picture. So if for no other reason, stay consistent. Now, I understand a lot of people, individuals, would want to vote for Avengers Endgame, and that's fine. That's a different discussion altogether. I just don't see how anybody could think for a moment that if this idiotic category actually existed this year, that the Academy, who is going to nominate Joker for Best Picture, wouldn't vote for it to be the best popular film. And I think you raised a great point, Rob. You raised a great point when you said having Joker in there and Joker winning. I disagree that this would have been the point, but I totally agree with your observation. It would have, in their eyes, legitimized the category a little bit, having a legit prestige Oscar caliber film in that category and winning. It would have given a little bit more, quote unquote, legitimacy to a completely illegitimate category. But anyway, that's how we see it, guys. What do you think? If they had gone through and had this idiotic best popular film category, which do you think would the films be to actually get those nominations? And which film do you think would, not should, but would actually win in that category? Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys.